Welcome to Clause 8. You're watching a short clip from one of our full episodes, featuring real conversations with the leaders shaping IP.
Marcia, obviously, one of the hot topics these days is AI. I'm sure I'm not breaking anything here. Anything, I guess, that you're thinking about in terms of how that's transforming, I guess, the work that in-house departments are doing, outside counsel, and the relationship to outside counsel, I guess. Where it stands now, it'd be interesting to hear, and I guess where you think it's going to be going.
Thank you for the question. I mean, as you know, I'm deep into it, right? And I believe in the power of AI in really transforming how we do our jobs. And I think, 5 years from now, I think you're not going to find, it's going to be difficult to find an attorney that is not going to leverage AI some way in their day-to-day job, right? I think we need to embrace it. We need to obviously have guardrails in place, right? To make sure that the human in the loop, that we trust the AI outputs, but we verify, and that we understand that this is a technology that is there to liberate ourselves from things that take a lot of time that we may not necessarily enjoy doing, to really accelerate everything that we do, accelerate innovation, accelerate IP development, how we protect IP, how we, get inventors to focus more on the R&D rather than spend a lot of time, having to distill concepts to outside counsel, because now you have AI tools that can really, do an amazing job with that drafting process. And of course, everything will evolve. And the worst that you're going to use AI is today, because tomorrow will be better, right? So I think it's a learning. And I think we should all kind of understand that we are living in a very exciting time to be able to see that shift from one era to the next era, right? The internet era, now we are in the AI era. And I think it's truly exciting to be living in this moment and to think about all the possibilities that this technology can bring, not just in IP, but elsewhere.
So obviously, HP, I think, has pretty publicly leaned into AI as the future. But on a practical level, and I've actually heard an interesting story from an in-house counsel at another company. They have a policy where you're not allowed to send emails without using AI. So whatever email you send, you have to go through AI first. So Jade, I'm kind of interested on a practical level, looking forward maybe, I don't know, a year from now, or as Marcia says, 5 years from now. What do you think the impact will be on AI in terms of, I guess, what your team does and what your outside counsel does? I guess what do you think the practical impact will be, and I guess what do you see?
I think certain ownership of certain responsibilities may look different, right? The way I think two things will change. Certain, like I said, responsibilities will be handled purely by AI, and it will get to a point where it's able to deliver at a level that we'll be just happy with. It's not quite there yet, but that's just a matter of time. And then the second element is
And what comes to mind, I guess? Do you have things that you think will get there?
yeah, no, I mean, in many aspects of what we do, like right now, we do our prior art searches using an AI powered solution, but we still have to, make sure that we kind of, that it makes sense and it resonates and it's giving us the right information and the right analysis. But there will be a point, I think it's just going to give up the answer, and that will be the answer. Right? So we'll be able to touch it less, if at all. So I think searches are huge when it comes to that. Summaries is another one. In all aspects of summarizing documents and whatnot will probably be, if not already there. Translations is another one. I think there's certain practical everyday things that we do that we currently utilize AI to a level, but it's just not quite there yet. Therefore, we still have a decent touch to it. Will probably not require much of our touch at all. And then that will also lead to, I think, a change in how we do things. There's a certain process to a task these days. and whether call that the patent drafting exercise, right? If there's a certain engagement model where we talk to an inventor, there's an interview, you bring that in, you draft the claims first, and then you get this approval, and then you move to the spec. Like there's a certain process in-house attorneys as well as our law firms follow to accomplish that task. So I think that flow will look very different, and which is good, because I think the way it's going to go is truly everyone touching where they add the most impact and value. And that's just, I think that kind of makes it more efficient and more effective in my view. And everyone has a value statement in that workflow. So it's just a matter of, I think, finding that. The other thing I think it's doing and will continue to do is the expectations is now higher. Like it's evolving expectations, right? When I interact with a process of some sort or manage a task, what I'm expecting out of that as the outcome or the output is now, whether that's the process in terms of how much time and money it's spent on the task, but also the outcome output itself, my expectations are higher. And it's just the way it's going to keep going there on. What used to be acceptable for, a write-up to look one way is going to keep evolving, where good thinking will become more scalable. If anything, it will turn into great thinking, in my view, by these AI tools. But at the same time, I think judgment is going to keep also becoming more of a value statement. And whether AI catches up on that one and is able to make judgment calls is a whole nother conversation. But up until that point, which at least, by the way, will happen in my view as well. I'm not sure about the timeline, but it will get there. But up until that point, at least, is judgment sits with us, right, with the professionals in these roles. So that will be our value statement, and we'll keep leaning into that.